Hey, it's Corey. What's up? Who's around? Join me. Super excited to share with you all some shifts you can take to start to deal with rejection, criticism, and so quote unquote so-called offenses in a more effective way. So while you are jumping on, I'm going to see if I can. Never mind. I was going to see if I could share this, but I actually don't know how to do that. So anyway, so I imagine as you all have experienced rejection at some point in your life, perhaps criticism, and perhaps you've been in a place where you felt maybe someone was being offensive or offended you. And I hear this a lot from my clients and actually from the students I teach at the university as well, that there's this almost like fear of they don't want to offend someone, and then also they're really quick to be offended. So, hi Gretchen, so nice to see you. So I want to share some ideas of what you can do when you're starting to experience those things. So if you're starting to feel like maybe someone's offending you or rejecting you or criticizing you. And so instead of being triggered by it and starting to go on to this maybe spiral of negativity and defensiveness, I'm going to share 3 steps you can take to start to actually use it to help you grow instead of use it to destroy you. And also to get over that fear. Like, I don't think it's healthy to walk around being like so afraid to offend people, because I'll get into more, it's actually not true. You can't offend people. Yay, I'm so psyched to have you here. So the first thing, what I want to share with you is when maybe you feel sorry, or if you are in a place where you're like, oh my gosh, that's so offensive, or you are afraid to be the person doing the offending. What I want you to do, sorry, one of my friends is calling for my birthday. What I want you to do is check yourself. So how you can check yourself is to ask yourself, is it true? Is what they're saying true? And be honest, because if it's triggering you, there's some part of it that you believe. And so what you can do then, if you are like, okay, so maybe it is probably true. What you can do then, instead of getting offended and going down the spiral of getting defensive, is just ask yourself, okay, what can I do with this information? So if it's negative feedback or criticism, what can you do to actually use it to help you improve, right? So when I was first teaching, I would often get, criticism or, negative feedback. And a lot of times I was so sensitive that I would get upset. And now I just see it as like, great, this is great information, because now I can use this to improve my methods of teaching and facilitating and become an even better facilitator, instead of worrying or being upset about them not maybe having the most positive experience, or them just not understanding what I'm teaching. So oftentimes, aside from learning to grow from it, is also thinking about, is it really about me? Oftentimes it's actually not, right? Hey Ted, so psyched to have you here. So I'm talking about rejection and criticism and offenses. So I was just sharing, if you are getting triggered by some negative feedback or criticism, or feeling offended, the trigger is notifying you that there's some piece of truth in it. And so what you can do with that truth is just to use it as information to improve. So what can I do differently? How can I use this to fuel me to go forward, instead of using it to stop me and destroy my sense of myself, right? If it's not triggering you and you're just like, that's interesting, then of course, you've overcome that trigger, that no longer is an issue for you. And it's actually more about the person giving the negative feedback or giving the criticism than it is about you. So that's the first step, just to check yourself. The second step is to eat the energy. So there's a lot of energy. You're receiving a lot of energy when you're receiving criticism or rejection or offenses. So using think about just the energy inherent when someone's attacking you. Being able to use that. So I used to take karate, right? You use that energy and you're able to shift it, but you're using the energy coming to you from your opponent, and you're using it, deflecting it, using it to actually move the energy back away from you, maybe towards them, if you're in a situation, in a fight where you have to reciprocate or defend yourself in that situation. But how this works in regards to rejection and criticism is, instead of analyzing and feeling bad and going down this spiral of like what's wrong with me and there's something wrong and I'm just not very good at this, you start to to go internal and use the critique to criticize yourself and eat yourself and destroy yourself. Instead of that, you're going to take all that energy coming to you and you're going to use it to move forward. So you're using that, oh my gosh, look at all this amazing energy I just received. Perfect. I'm going to use this to move forward because I'm the only person who decides how I feel. So I can choose to be offended or I can choose not to be offended. I can choose to let this destroy me or I cannot. And so once you start to see that you are the master of your thoughts and your emotions and your energy, all of that stuff is just information. And some of it maybe you can use to help improve, and others of it you can just deflect and move on, right? So that's step 2. So then step 3 is you get to change the story. So you are the person that decides what it means, right? So you can decide it means you're a failure, you're a loser, you're worthless. You are the person that's deciding that, not the person giving you the feedback or giving you the criticism or rejecting you. You're the person that's making it mean something about you. And so once you start to see that, then you can start to change the story. And you get to decide yourself, only you, what it means. So maybe it means nothing to you. Maybe it means, oh, there's something off in this relationship. Or maybe it means, I actually don't want to be around this person. Or actually it means, wow, I'm actually, getting way stronger because I'm more noticeable. And now I'm getting attacked because I'm more in the spotlight. So as you become more vocal, of course, that's when you get more haters, right? So it could mean something positive, that this is amazing. I'm actually putting myself out there and I'm risking rejection. I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable. And so this is great that I'm getting rejection because it shows me that I'm growing, right? So again, you get to change the story. You get to decide what it means. And you are the only person that can allow yourself to feel offended or hurt or rejected. That's not up to the person giving you the feedback. It's up to you to decide to attach a negative connotation to it, not them. And you don't have to attach that negative connotation to it. So you'll have questions. So all this comes back to having a powerful presence. So being able to hold yourself in high regard, no matter what anyone says about you, and no matter what's happening in your life, and having a masterful mindset to be able to shift out of, maybe victim mentality or defensiveness and into a place of power, right? That you get to decide what it means, and only you decide your sense of self, your sense of worth, and you get to decide your sense of emotion, your sense of well-being, and you get to decide that at every moment. And once you realize that you're the master of your thoughts and emotions and energy, you really get to the place where you're unoffendable. It doesn't matter what people say. You can use it to propel you forward. You can use it as information, but it no longer destroys you. So that is actually what my new program, my 3-month mentorship, is about. It's powerful presence. So holding yourself in high regard no matter what's going on, mastering that place of supreme confidence in who you are and what you say, and cultivating a masterful mindset, because those two go hand in hand. Your mindset helps you achieve that place of powerful presence. So if you're interested in learning more about my mentorship, please reach out. I'd love to talk to you more about it to see if it's a good fit for you. And let's see, hold on, read some comments real quick before I sign off. Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to family, we're much more sensitive than we are with strangers or even with friends or colleagues, right? Even with bosses. So with family, of course, that's part of our sense of identity, part of our sense of belonging. So when we get rejected or criticized by family, we take it more personally because that's part of how we learned how to operate within the family system that we grew up. And part of that operating system was we had to behave a certain way, maybe speak a certain way, maybe do certain things in order to get approval and acceptance and to quote unquote belong. And so even maybe that was subconscious and that was part of your survival mechanism as a child, often we carry those into adulthood. And so we're still operating out of that same system of I have to act a certain way, I can only say certain things, I have to be a certain way in order for my family to accept me. But now you're not in survival mode. You're an adult and you have learned new ways of being and acting and speaking. And so as you start to step out into being the person that you truly are, you will start to notice maybe some family members not maybe being so psyched about it because they're used to the old relationship status as it was. But as you start to hold more confidence in this, who you are, this being that doesn't need to be in survival mode, often your family will rise to meet you. There might be some conflict or some struggle to get there, but it's challenging an old system. And as you continue to challenge the old system and stay in that new place, either your family can't handle it and there needs to be some time and some space of separation, or your family can come up to meet you. And oftentimes that what happens is that the relationship actually transforms. So, but also understanding those are the most challenging relationships, I would say, across the board, because they're so enmeshed in oftentimes old dysfunctional thinking and operating. And those are the ones we most need to transform and to separate our sense of self from, so we know our self does come from us, not from our approval by our parents or our friends or family or our job or anything else. Great comment, Gretchen. Thank you for that. I don't see any others. So again, if you're interested in learning more about working with me and really getting to that place where you can hold the space of who you are no matter what happens and have the mindset that's concrete and solid no matter what happens again, reach out to me. I'd love to talk to you more about that to see if this is a good fit. Thank you all so much for joining me. I loved spending time with you and being able to hear what's going on in your world. All right, talk to you soon. See you next time.